found at your seat. If you don't mind, at the end of the class, placing those back on the back of the seat so they'll be ready for our next classes behind us. We'll appreciate it. I know your fellow guests will appreciate that too as well. When we out to today, we're going to be sitting out to the left-hand side of the theater. You're going to follow the lovely wall of animals through the animal tunnel. That will safely get everybody out. Restrooms are just right around the corner from that. Anyway you got to go is to the left-hand side. And, of course, we're going to go ahead and get started here. And like to draw from life a lot of times, bring in a small zoo and native animals. Sometimes we'll just flash it up right up here for you. But guess what? I'm just going to go ahead and turn you over to our inspiration and Patrick over there. Yay!
She always sets me up to be the inspiration. I am not the inspiration. Let's just get that clear. You guys are not sketching me. That's the class later. So for this one, you guys are obviously drawing Eeyore, and what better thing to do than to do what our Disney animators have done in the past, and that's use the real animals as your inspiration. So we're going to be bringing out some donkeys to introduce to you guys. With that said, though, we unfortunately have to get the boring rules out of the way first. Everybody looks really comfortable in the front row. Unfortunately, I have to have you guys unfold your legs and tuck them as much as possible. Just for the safety of the animals and the safety of your toes as they're walking by. Also, if you have a bag that's not already tucked, go ahead and tuck it under the seat, or if you have an empty seat next to you, you can go ahead and pop it up there. Finally, we do have to just ask a small favor that as the animals are walking around, they're going to be pretty focused on their trainers, so we don't want you guys in this moment reaching out to say hello to them. However, when you guys are done with your class, you'll have the opportunity to head out to the affection section and be able to see them. So are you guys ready to meet them? Yeah. All right, perfect. Look over to my left-hand side here. You're going to see 4 individuals coming out, 2 with 4 legs, 2 with 2 legs. I'm sure you guys can figure out which is which, but leading the way, this is Allie, and she is accompanied by Jill, who is one of our miniature donkeys. Bringing up the rear end, not to be talked about any less, this is Rachel and Jack. So Jack and Jill are what we like to call original cast members. They've actually been here since Animal Kingdom opened back in 1998, so they're celebrating their 26th birthdays this month. So they're definitely, we like to show it off. Their halters say that on little gold plates. It has their names and it says original CM. But these guys, as they're walking around, you're putting yourself in the position of an animator right now. You're looking at the motion of the animal. When you see these CGI films, and even going back to Bambi in the 1930s, this is what they did. They watched the animal and they looked for, how does it move? How does it hold itself? You guys obviously are focusing on the head of Eeyore and the face of Eeyore. So for Jack and Jill, really focus in on those elements. Of course, there are some similarities, there are also some differences. We'll talk about a few of those. One is, of course, Eeyore's ears are always down, whether he's having a good day, an okay day, or not so okay day. Jack is definitely the more Eeyore-like when it comes to holding his ears. Jill is usually a little more spunky and aware of her surroundings, and their ears tell you a lot of how they're feeling. They could be paying attention to something on their left-hand side while looking at something on their right-hand side. We often get that response when we say their name and they're not necessarily wanting to acknowledge us. We'll get the ear turn. They'll look at us and say, I hear you. I'm not going to look at you, but I hear you. The other big difference, of course, is their teeth. Jack's really great at showing us that they do have a nice big set of chompers in there. Of course, Eeyore, being a stuffed animal, does not have those teeth in his mouth. And then, of course, I'm sure you guys have heard that Eeyore's always losing his tail. Our donkeys don't have that worry. Their tails are permanently attached to their bodies. So one more thing before I let you guys get back to your class. We did mention that the donkeys live out in the affection section. This is your opportunity in your day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom to really get up close and personal with some of our animals. We have all kinds of hoof stock out there that you would find in farms and barns, including our cow and our pigs, and of course the stars in front of you are donkeys. So when you guys get a moment after the class, definitely check out all of the critters that live out there. Without further ado, I'm going to turn you back over to Heather. Enjoy your class.
Thank you, Patrick. You're so beautiful. Thank you, Jack and Jill. Oh my goodness, hey, that's all Eeyore? Oh, I am definitely inspired. It touched my heart every time. So are we seeing some guidelines on our paper there? And it looks like a circle with like a couple lines through it. Yeah, we'll make sure everybody's got the right thing before we get started. All right, I think we got everybody in, so make sure we're not leaving anybody out there. We got a couple horizontal lines in the middle. That's where our eyes are going to be. Vertical guideline down the center. That's going to be the center of our character. So you'll use guidelines for every Disney character that you draw. So when they kind of make sure that you keep it consistent throughout the whole production when you work on multiple people working on the same character. So we're going to go ahead and look at her eyes at first. I don't know why, I just like to start with the eyes. It's like the window to the soul, as they say. And it's basically kind of a nice little egg kind of shape, or a teardrop or raindrop kind of shape. So any of those things can help. I just start about halfway between the vertical guideline and the end of that first guideline. And I'm going to go ahead and just start sketching it out, because it's a sketch class. So this will allow us some room for adjustment if we don't like the line once we place it down. And it's okay to not like a line the first time you draw it in there. You can see mine are very messy, very rough, and that's exactly what we kind of want. We want that nice little rough sketch there. We can always dress it up in just a second. So I usually find it a little easier to kind of draw with my shoulder. It does go a little faster that way too for you, but it's a little more natural. So if you're out here chef in the kitchen and you're stirring something, so like my shoulder is doing the constant moving, if that helps. And not just break it up a little bit. You can do half of an oval. That's fine. Here we go down here. I'm just going to go ahead and sketch it out. I'm just taking it part by part right now. I kind of slowed it a little bit down for you. And then I'm just going to pull it right back up to the top. And just kind of creating that nice little teardrop, raindrop, egg, whatever, kind of shape there. And you notice his eyes are in the front too. Obviously, Jack and Jill is on the side too. They are prey animals, so prey animals have the eyes on the side, they like to hide. Eyes in the front, they like to hunt predator. But he is a stuffed animal. We want to hug him. He's got his eyes looking at us. But we gotta give him this little droopy kind of morning eyes, right? I just kind of think of Eeyore, thinking of waking up in the morning maybe. And I'm just gonna start just a little bit down from the top. Now you can see I kind of did a little bit darker, so that way you can kind of see the difference between my dark lines and light lines too. So if you need to adjust a line, or would you like a line, you can make it a little bit darker like that. And I just like to give it a little more darkness in the eyelid there too, eyeliner kind of. And then once you like the rest of that oval there that you created, you can go back in there and kind of trace over it a little bit and make it a little bit darker. Again, I prefer to keep all of those sketchy lines in on my drawing, but later on when you get home, if you feel like, hey, I just really want to get rid of erasers, still exist out in the wild, you can always catch one, really easy to catch. So you can get rid of it later if you want to, but don't ever ignore those other lines that you may not like, because there's progress lines. Just gonna go ahead and make that little eyelid there, so kind of bring it across. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and darken in the rest of the oval there. Make that a little bit darker. How we do? Oh, see the little. You're doing fine back there, so you need to see this older people. Feel free. You're good. You are totally fine. And then we're going to go ahead and add in the pupil. So right here in the bottom part of the eye, that's the size of a little peanut M&M. And we'll do the same thing over here. We'll draw in an oval. And I'm just sketching it out too, so again, we're just making it a little bit smaller. And it's okay, maybe your eyelid's a little more closed too as well. And it's still early in the morning, so you know what? It takes a while to kind of wake up. Maybe Eeyore needs some more coffee, I don't know. We play off the story to, make it work for us, right? And then we're gonna go ahead and add in a little bit of a highlight. And I'll place in just a little oval in mine. If you want to make yours a star, maybe a little twinkle in the eye, you can do that. I'm just gonna shade in around that highlight. And I just do a very quick shading on mine. You can always come back to this if you wish. You can do this later if this helps on timing and everything. Because we do have a time limit together, but feel free to kind of keep everything light during class and darken it in later, whatever helps you out. So. And then of course you need a little bit more emotion, so that's where a human characteristic comes in. We noticed on Jack and Jill, they don't have eyebrows. So we gotta add in something that we have to really make them emote. And I'm just gonna go just to the left of that first guideline. I'm gonna give it just a little bit of a curve kind of coming up. Now we call them S curves in animation. If you ever sewn anything, you can kind of think of like a thread being sewn in to that stuffed animal, or I don't sew very well, so I mean those that sew will definitely know more, but just kind of getting like a little jaggedy edge, like a piece of thread would have sometimes if you sew it in there. And then Eeyore does have a little more expressive eyes too. Just allows them, with their eyes on the side, allows them to have more wider range of vulnerability and keep a lookout. And the prey animals. All right, so the next step, once we get our eyes, this definitely just looks like a face, a circle. The horizontal line at the bottom, is below the bottom of the circle. I'm going to take the end of the line, but just come into it just a little bit and add in a little curved line underneath it for the dimple. And then I'm going to come over here on this side, come in, and we're going to add in a little curved line for that dimple. Now the bottom of the smile hits right there at the end of that vertical guideline. So nice and easy. Now it might be a little easier to do one half of the smile first and then do the other half so you don't feel like you have to do that full little swoop. So I just take the dimple here and stretch it down, hit the middle, and again, go white first if that makes it a little easier. And then we're just going to go over and you're going to hit the right hand side too. And as you can see, you can kind of test and adjust as much as you need to. Like even make those lines, those happy accidents is what I like to call them. Make them. Because they may end up being, something that you really love later. And we're going to go ahead and darken in what I like. And all those kind of fade off to the background and just show a little animation to it. Now if we go in the middle here, and the reason why I like to do this next part like it is, we're going to show a little bit of a seam right here in the middle. So I'll just go between the two eyes. I'm going to trace down it. I'm going to bring it just to the right of that vertical guideline before it hits that second horizontal line. So I'm going to curve the seam a little more so it looks a little more 3D. You can feel the roundness of that nose. So they locate the food and locate each other with that little nose that they have. And I'm going to pull it down and hit the horizontal line and bring it all the way down to the bottom. So we're just going to kind of anchor it right back down into that smile, of course. And you kind of like to have the anchor, so my Eeyore, just kind of anchor that tail back into place there. Because he always keeps losing it, even though Jack and Jill obviously don't lose their tail. They always find a way to help it, and that's what's so great about the Winnie the Pooh characters. They're there to help each other. They're just like, they're all great characters there. And the stories based on A.A. Milne's son, who is actually Christopher Robin. A. Milne's son is Christopher Robin, and these were Christopher Robin's toys, of course. And you can see the original Eeyore and most of the friends in the New York City Public Library, that big famous library we see in New York, seen in films all over the place. And we can add a few little stitches. Now, where you place your stitches along that line can be totally different than mine. If anybody knows you have a stuffed animal, like fluff or whatever comes out of it, and it gets sewn up a little bit differently depending on where that fluff stuff comes out. So you can make it tailored to you if you want. Of course, he's not stuffed with fluff, but some of the other ones. He is stuffed with You've got sawdust in him. So if you go between the dimple and this line, we're going to go ahead and draw in a nice little nostril there. It was like a little sesame scene, watermelon scene, anything in between the dimple and that little line right there on the side. That would be his little nostril. Now we're just going to kind of pull it out together and just kind of pull in the rest of his head. So I just take kind of about where the side of the circle is, just about where the top of the eye is. That's where I started. I'm going to trace down till I hit the end of that blue line sticking outside that circle. And then it's going to come down and it's going to hit the end of the blue line right past that dimple right there. So you're just going to go straight out, kind of bend it a little bit down to the blue line, and then it's just going to kind of fall right back in to his smile. It kind of has a little bit of that cheekbone kind of just curving in there. And then over here on the right side, take the right side of the circle, about where the top of the eyes are. That's where I started. I'm going to bring it down till it hits that blue line, nice and easy, and then we're just going to go ahead and pull right back down to the end of that line. Stretch it out just a little bit. Once it hits the end of that line, this is going to kind of roll it right back in. Pull in that little cheek. And then what I do is just go back in over the line or go right beside it and just dress it up if I need to. After I sketch it out a little bit. In the sketch box. Alright. How you doing, Alex? Doing good? Got some young artists out there. Wow. Brooks. Normal. Alright, so we got color change. So we know in the movies he's like a darker gray up top, a little bit lighter gray. And that's totally true for Jack and Jill. And we noticed them walking around. It was a little bit lighter where their nose is. And I just start kind of about where the bottom of that circle is. And we're at the vertical guideline. This is a nice, easy place to find. And I'm just going to curve it down till it hits just above that line. So I'll just go ahead and make a little mark on both sides there. So you're going to do the opposite of what we did down here at the bottom. We're just going to do an upside down smile pretty much, or rainbow curve. And then just kind of sketch it out if you need to. And feel it. Sometimes it helps too when I'm drawing this. I like to kind of feel it. And again, drawing from life definitely helps that. So you can kind of like feel the roundness of that character, or if you're drawing a person. You know, we're all 3D kind of. So you still want to kind of draw, even if you're drawing a traditional sense, you still want to kind of draw in that 3D kind of manner. Essentially. And then we're going to go ahead and add it, unless you're drawing like flat Stanleyers. We're going to draw in under eye circles there. That's what I like to call them, under eye wrinkles. And I just draw a little tiny smiley face at the bottom of that circle, just directly underneath the eye. And the same thing over here, like little under eye circles, bags, or whatever you want to call them. Yay! It's the morning, right? So we'll go with that. And then I'm going to back it up just a second, because I want to be able to see these little blue lines at the bottom. Yes, we are going to use that. That's how far his ears go down, so don't be afraid of bringing the ears down to those little ones. I made them a little bit darker so you can kind of see them a little bit more. So they kind of curve off of the side of the head. And I'm just going to start right there at the side of the circle, just to the left of the vertical guideline. It doesn't have to touch, unless you want it to. That way it kind of gives you something to kind of start with. Leave a little bit of a gap right there for just a second. We're going to go ahead and go out. Those ears kind of flow out just a little bit. Now, if they flow out a little more on yours, that's totally fine. When we squish your stuffed animal and hug it really tightly, those ears might kind of fluff out just a little bit more. You never know. Depends on how you're playing with your stuffed animal. And then it's going to come back up, and it's going to hit about even with the eyelids, or about halfway between the two blue lines, so roughly right about there. I'll make a mark for you. Now if you bring it down, just parallel to his face, you get a little bit closer without touching the side of his little cheek there. And if it touches it, that's fine too. Some of it could be kind of hidden behind. Now, Eeyore first appeared in 1966, one of the last shorts that Walt Disney has few words on. These movies were, of course, done in the 60s and 70s. They're at a time where the Xerox period of animation. So If your drawings are really sketchy, it's really good because they just went straight from working on drawings and xeroxing it over and then coloring it. They didn't do that beautiful cleanup work that we see in the later films later. So you would, go back and see Robin Hood 101 Dalmatians, for example, and you can see those beautiful sketchy lines, which I love. So, it's like we're animating back in the 60s and the 70s, back in time a little bit. And he does have a little fold in his ear, and I just start that kind of about halfway between these two lines. And that's how thick it's going to be, and it's going to kind of get thinner and thinner as it kind of go down to the side, so it almost just tapers right into the ear. Get that nice little fold in the ear too. And then he is voiced by the lovely Ralph Wright. It's really fantastic by a lot of people. You act it out, and they love that. Oh, we've got a great voice. You know? I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. Now, I'm going to come right back up. Now, where the side of his ear hits, so in between the first and second guideline, again, he's kind of doing the same thing. Now, we're going to go ahead and slide it down a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and keep it parallel. And then just kind of go out just a little bit of a bend as we come on out and around. Eeyore does live in a lean-to style house. It's made out of sticks. I might say this house. And again, he's always very knowledgeable, very helpful. Even though it's glue and everything, he's just always, got very, very good insights into helping out. Owl needed a new house. Granted, it was Piglet's house, but he tried to find a new house for Owl anyway. So, very thoughtful, And then Piglet, moves in with his best buddy. So there you go, works out. And then of course, right here at the blue line, get that about halfway down, get a little bit thicker, and it just kind of falls down and just almost disappears on the side. It kind of has that little bit of a fluff to the ear, almost, a sawdust. It's kind of fitting too, donkeys do kind of make that loud ring, Can't do it, I'm not gonna try to sound like them. Alright, how we doing out there? Doing good so far? We got this nice little belly to add in there, and then something else at the top of his head. And then his little belly, we'll go ahead and do that next. Since we're down here at the bottom, I just kind of look at where the dimple is and then come down here until I hit the jaw there. And just draw straight down into the ear. Now what you can do, you can bring this through the ear if you need to. You can draw through the shape just to get to the other side, or just hop over it. You decide what you want to do. And again, if you have extra lines, if you only want to get rid of it later, you can still do that. Those are really easy to catch. And then we'll start back into the dimple. Just come down here to the smile. Bring this down. I hope you get a chance to go out to the affection section out there and check out just a little bit. Tap into you a little more closely, and very, very sweet. Again, it fits my heart. All animals do, really. They're so sweet. We'll go under bottom of the smile there. I think the tigers are sweet. I'm going to draw a curve, like a little rainbow curve for color change. Again, that lighter color change. And merchandising, he is more of a blue shade sometimes. Then you might see that color. So if you wanted to color yours that, you can. And then we'll just kind of wrap them up with a nice little hairstyle. And then just have a little bit of fun right in the middle. I just like to have one kind of hanging down. I'll draw it pretty fast. I just kind of stay loose with it. I don't think too much about it when I add in a hair, just because it just kind of should just flow and just be like hair is supposed to do. You know, you wake up in the morning and it's going to do its own thing. It's nothing fancy there. I think I make it look like it's a little thread almost. And having some fun. Because he is a stuffed animals. Also, we can help out all of our animals out in the park or just out in the world there too. We have the Disney Conservation Fund. We have stuffed animals that you can get in the merchandise shop, and the proceeds go to helping out the animals just by purchasing a lovely little plush. And then it goes through the World Wildlife Fund too. I mean, there's like ways you can kind of adopt, you know, symbolically an animal. And sometimes give you a flesh or some feather. I'll let y'all have to look into that one. And it's like Coastal Cleanup Day, I believe, today. Something like that. So, you know, it's another easy way to help. It's just, you know, going to the beaches and making sure there's no plastic on, you know, just stuff like that. He's got that little, kind of shade that middle of his hair there. But you can see him just kind of just having a little fun and not thinking too much about it. Just kind of sprout up. You just take the cider pencil and you can just kind of do a very, very quick shading. I mentioned Walt Disney already, Ralph Wright, a lot of great people that worked. Stories by A.A. Milne, got our fabulous 9 Old Men. Frank Thomas and Olive Johnson are seen over there on the right. But check out Mark Davis and check out Ward Kimball. I love Ward Kimball. Boy Riderman, that's one of my favorite movies. Robin Hood. Let's skip the lighter colored scenes there. In this. And again, you don't have to do this. I just do that nice little rough feel to it. It's time to autograph our artwork. So yay! Congratulations to everybody. Should be very proud of what you accomplished too. And I know they all look fantastic. Whether you want to show them or not, you can show them if you want to. I don't make anybody. But yes, you should be proud of it and definitely put them on the refrigerators at home for sure. Nice job. Alex and Laura and Brooks over there. I know they did a great job. They're on the second row. And then it's 9/17/2022 there. So that way you know the day you became an official Disney Animation Legacy artist. Following the footsteps of all the great people. And of course, Retta Scott and Mary Blair, just a few of the female animators. Check out their stories too. I think today is Red Panda Day. Speaking of that, Domi Shi, the director of Turning Red, if you haven't seen that, from Disney Plus. So there you go. There's this Red Panda Day. Check that out too. It's a really good little film if you get a chance to see it. But most of all, y'all have a wonderful day here in Animal Kingdom, and see lots of animals, see your donkeys again, and have fun. Bye everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining us in the animation experience at Conservation Station. Please gather your personal belongings before exiting. And remember, we hope you enjoyed and the rest of your adventure here at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
This is my warm.
Everyone, it's Herb from World of Walt here from Disney's Animal Kingdom and Conservation Station, checking out the animation experience and step-by-step on how to draw Eeyore. Once I get out of the building, I will show you my Eeyore, who is not, he looks a little sad, but he doesn't look terrible. But Eeyore is sad, so that's the way it should be. Tina, hello to you. Hope you are having a good day. Thanks for joining me. Elmer is a big fan of the animals. All right, let's exit. Sandy and Cindy are asking for my drawing. I will give it a little preview in just a moment. Hang in there. Henry, hello to you. So the train that was coming back to the conservation station was running a little late, so I started the drawing broadcast pretty much at its very beginning. Hope to settle in and start a little early. So if you didn't have a chance to check out the very beginning of the broadcast, you might want to check out the replay once it's over. They actually did something I hadn't seen before, which is they brought out 2 live donkeys and sort of paraded them around so you could see what the inspiration looked like, which was kind of fun. So we're going to head back towards the train station. We're going to make our way over towards Dinoland USA, just because that's been a spot of quite a bit of conversation this week. But before we do that, let me share with you my Eeyore, who, he's not bad. He's not bad. He looks a little squished, but I guess sometimes stuffed animals do get a little squished. So there's my Eeyore from the animation experience at Conservation Station here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. And this video showed step-by-step how to draw them, which is always a lot of fun. I think it's very interesting how the Disney artists do show you step-by-step. They make it very easy. So even someone like me who really has 0 drawing talent, you can follow each step and how it's all broken down and come up with something that looks pretty good at the end. Leslie says it's cute. Thank you so much. Beverly said he looks good. Thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Misty said he's great. Thank you. I'm not going to give up my day job and switch over to animation, but it was fun. It is a fun thing to do. Petunia said it looked pretty good. Thank you, Petunia. Appreciate it. So it's a peaceful morning back here at the conservation station. Tried to get to the park a little bit early so I could find a good spot to share with you the directions for the course. And it was fun doing. Heather said it came out great. Thank you so much for that, Heather. Robert, nice to see you. Christine, hello to you. So during the class, some people were asking, oh, it did come back. I'm shocked. Normally, if it's down for that long, it's not going to come back.
Welcome back, Frank.
Thank you.
How was the art class?
It was great.
Let me see. Nice little. I could tell those are Eeyores. Y'all did a great job.
Okay, so here we are back at the train station. And Carol is asking for the word of the day, which I'm happy to share with you. And Carol is referring to World of Walt Fun. World of Walt Fun, what is that? It's a game where you can win points for entries into weekly prize drawings. The more points you got, the better your chance of winning. Every week, somebody's going to win something good. Pins, merchandise, gift cards, tickets. And today you can get some points just for watching. All you have to do is text the word morning. Text the word morning to 407-606-6780. Again, text the word morning to 407-606-6780 and claim your points just for watching today. Once you do this, you'll get a link. You'll follow over to Facebook Messenger, and it'll get you all hooked up. If you haven't yet signed up for World of Walt Fun, texting the word morning to 606-6780 will take care of you. Thanks to everybody who's been playing. Last week, Kelly from New York won. Somebody's going to win this week, too. Cheryl, hello to you. Nice to see you. John said, any word on Phantasmic? John, that's a great question. I have not seen a formal announcement on when Phantasmic is going to come back again. I believe I saw some announcements about casting happening, where Disney brought some animals out as inspiration. So 2 donkeys came out, which was kind of fun. Cynthia, hello to you, and Peggy, hello. Train is on the way. Vicky, good morning to you. Diane says, loves the train ride. Me too. It's actually a lot of fun. Karen got her 4 points of World of Walt Fun. Karen, congratulations. Good job. Liz got 5. Very nice. Tammy got 5 as well. Peggy, hello to you, and Steve, welcome. Amy Beth shared the video. Thank you so much. Appreciate you doing that. Sharing is one of the best ways to get the word out. Thanks also for your comments, for your thumbs up, for your likes. All very much appreciated. Mary Ellen shared as well. Mary Ellen, thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Tanya? Oh, that's okay. You're fine. Tanya said she's a fan of the game. Thanks for playing. Here comes the train. Diane says, wish they would have brought out a tiger when they were drawing Simba. Yeah, I think the lawyers would have something to say about that, but that would be cool. That would be very cool. Petunia said, any word of any kind on the dining plan? Nothing new there. And a lot of people ask about that, a very popular question. Oh, and we're back.
If there's any animals, I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Gina, good morning to you. Says enjoyed the drawing. Thank you so much for that. Kathleen's going to be here for Halloween. That's awesome. Good time to visit. Carol says the video keeps freezing. Yes, it does.
Prettiest blue eyes.
Not much, unfortunately, that I can do about that. It's just a function of the internet connection. Best suggestion I've got is just hang in there. And if it doesn't come back after a minute or two, pop out of Facebook and come back in. All right, looks like we're going to be ready to head out of the train station shortly.
She's got pictures there.
Oh, yeah. We're going to go that way?
She likes her picture.
We're going to go get your water, okay?
You like the picture taken?
Valerie, good morning to you. Mary's going to be here in November. And Susan, September 29th. That's almost here.
Greetings, friends, and welcome aboard the Wildlife Express. We hope you enjoyed your visit to Rafiki's Planet Watch. We are now beginning our return trip to the African town of Harambe. For your safety, please remain seated and keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Sit all the way back against the bench, and please be sure to watch your children.
Bienvenidos. Comenzamos ahora nuestro viaje de regreso a la aldea
Alyssa is suggesting a plug for the shirt store. If you'd like to check out a list of all the shirts that have been deployed, you can go to worldofwaltstore.com and check out all the shirts. I actually need to follow up with the nice folks at TeePublic and see where we are in the design of a few of those. Arlene, hello to you. Nice to see you.
all these lights full of bugs.
Life Express, with service from Rafiki's Planet Watch to the village of Harambe. As you head back out into Disney's Animal Kingdom, we hope you take with you a great appreciation for the very journey that led us here. You see, it was Walt Disney's passion for animals and conservation that led him to send film crews across the globe to capture dramatic
Mark, good morning to you. Kilimanjaro Safari.
With powerful films like African Cats, One in China, and Penguins, Disney Nature creates a unique opportunity to connect with wildlife on an emotional level, inspiring us to preserve nature through care and understanding. And did you know that each film provides an opportunity for filmgoers to become conservationists just by seeing the films? A portion of the first week's ticket sales for each Disney Nature release is directed through the Disney Conservation Fund to support specific conservation initiatives with nonprofit organizations around the globe. A
lot of folks are sharing their point totals with World of Wild Fun. So if you haven't heard yet, World of Walt Fun is a game where you can win points for entries into weekly prize drawings.
It was this
The more
rich
points, the
legacy
better your
of
chance of
animal
winning.
storytelling that inspired
Somebody's going to win
the
something good every day, every week, excuse me.
a place that
And this week it could be you.
deep connection with animals,
I didn't
magic of
realize
nature,
that.
and
Text the word morning, 407-606-6782.
enjoying our natural world.
And text the word morning to 407-606-6782 to claim your points. If you haven't signed up yet, this process will get you hooked up.
That legacy lives in you.
But friends, we're getting ready to approach our Harambe station, which means that our journey has come to an end. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day here at Disney Animal Kingdom. Have a wild day here.
I was asking about the weather here, so today it's going to be a high of 88. We're at 79 right now. It's actually a pretty pleasant day. The sun's not out too much.
All the way back against the bench, and the boy leaning out toward the rail. Remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop.
I was there.
Be sure to watch your children as you exit. Remember, preserving the magic of nature begins with you. Asante.
Asante. Joel has got the need for speed.
Pandas. That's right. Yep.
Listen, you're so quiet.
Marsha, good morning to you.
My friends, make sure the little ones are seated on the against the bench.
All right, we have come to a screeching stop. We'll wait to be released from the train. Dory's got 7 days to go. That is great. I hope you have a wonderful visit. Debbie enjoys seeing the scenery as we go by on the train. It is very peaceful. It's very nice. John, good morning to you. Ron is saying the video is freezing more than him this wintertime. It is kind of a chunky presentation today.
Thank you.
Gary says, thanks for a new adventure day. Gary, happy to do it. Thank you for joining me. Kim, happy Saturday to you, says, loves this part of the park. Jeff says, a peaceful trip, that it is. All right, we're going to come out here. We're going to hang a left, make our way through the Asia section of the park, and wander back over towards Dinoland USA. So Dinoland USA, the coaster that was there has been pulled down, and this past Sunday during the D23 Disney Parks presentation, some Imagineers showed some early concept ideas on what could be coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom. They were very careful to say these were early ideas, that they could change. But it was interesting that they're exploring two concepts for the Dinoland USA area, both Moana and Zootopia. So it's interesting that Moana is a choice, probably because it's an extremely popular movie and characters, although interesting in that Epcot is getting a walk-through Journey of Water inspired by Moana. So it would be very interesting that they would put yet a second Moana attraction in a park in a relatively short period of time. Zootopia is another interesting choice. So that's one that people tend to have different opinions on because Zootopia is really a story about the human world told through animals as opposed to a story about animals. But it is animals, so it kind of makes sense that it would show up in this park. Melissa says, wonder what's going to happen to the dinosaur ride. Yeah, that's part of the intrigue around some of these concept arts in that presentation. So while the dinosaur attraction wasn't mentioned specifically, there have been a lot of wonderings in the Disney fan community on whether or not there could be a reskinning of that attraction. Interestingly, the attraction is the exact same layout and technology as what's used in the Indiana Jones attraction in Disneyland, which in my opinion is actually a much better attraction, even though same layout, same ride vehicles, but very different experience. So it would not surprise me if, as part of a Dinoland overhaul, we might get some sort of new skin on Dinosaur, in addition to a build out of the Dinoland area. So we're going to go over there and just take a little peek, sort of in honor of that D23 presentation. If you haven't had a chance to see the concept art that was released this past Sunday as part of the D23 Imagineering presentation, head over to worldofwalt.com and you can see those photos. A lot of progress updates were announced during D23. Ron's voting for Zootopia. One that was surprising to me was a general opening timeline for the new Tron coaster in the Tomorrowland area of the Magic Kingdom. And Disney has announced that it's coming in the spring of 2023. And I was surprised by that, much later than I would have expected, given what we're able to see on the outside of that construction site, where they're pretty much getting to the point where they are putting in final walkways, and it looks to me even like getting pretty close to landscaping, which is something that happens very late in the process. I was expecting that Tron might even open by the end of this year, which I know we're just 2-3 months away from that, but it looked like they were making good progress. But they're not even saying winter; they're saying spring. So that's a pretty broad window. But we'll keep an eye on things as we make our way over to the Magic Kingdom in future broadcasts. So, feathered friends in flight over here to our left. Diana, hello to you. Thanks for being here. Welcome to the live broadcast. Susan asking for the word of the day. Susan, thanks for that. Happy to share it with you. So today I started off the broadcast with the drawing class over at the Animation Experience at Conservation Station. Had a chance to draw Eeyore. So I wanted to be quiet during that presentation and didn't share the word until after it was done, but I'm happy to share it with you now. We're referring to World of Walt Fun. What's that? World of Walt Fun is a game where you can win points for entries into weekly prize drawings. The more points you've got, the better your chance of winning. Every single week, somebody's going to win something good. Pins, gift cards, merchandise, tickets. And today you can claim some points just for watching this video. All you have to do is text the word morning to 407-606-6780. Again, text the word morning, 407-606-6780 to claim your points for watching today's videos and World of Walt Fun. If you haven't yet signed up for World of Walt Fun, this process will get you hooked up. Again, just text the word morning, 407-606-6780. Last week, Kelly from New York won a prize. This week, someone else is going to win a prize. It could be you. Tammy is saying it's time for a plug at the Pin of the Month Club. Tammy, thank you for that. Always appreciate those prompts. Today you win the award My Appreciation. If you would like to get a little bit of Disney fun delivered to your home, how often? Every single month. Just check out pinofthemonthclub.com. Denise, happy Saturday to you. Thanks for being here on the broadcast. Nice to see you. So another announcement that came out recently is that Disney Kite Tales is ending this month. So the show that was part of the 50th anniversary, which was actually a very fun show. Probably not enough content to make a full show, which is why Disney's just made it sort of, occasional presentations. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's colorful. It's fun to see the kites and the people towing the kites. But that's going to be going away. Other big announcements, replacements for the 2 nighttime spectaculars at both Epcot and the Magic Kingdom. So Harmonious at Epcot is going to be replaced as part of the Disney 100, celebrating 100 years of the company. Kind of interesting, didn't really see that happening so soon because It is a relatively new show. And in the same way, Enchantment at the Magic Kingdom is going to be replaced with Happily Ever After, the show which it replaced. So going back to Happily Ever After. Personally, I did like Happily Ever After a lot better than Enchantment, although I thought Enchantment was a great show. So those moves were kind of surprising to me. Very interesting. Elaine, hello to you. Leslie asked, when is Harmonious ending? I believe the announcement was that it will happen sometime in 2023. So I would be surprised if it happens earlier in the year, because the 50th anniversary celebration goes through, I think, the end of March, if I remember correctly. So probably sometime mid or later in the year. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. I'm especially interested to hear and watch what happens with the infrastructure that Disney put in place. All right, Expedition Everest, standing up front here. Steve says one of his favorite stretches to walk. This part of Asia really is beautiful, so nicely done. Ron says the clouds don't look too promising. It is definitely an overcast day today here at the Walt Disney World Resort. Yeah, so actually it's been pretty rainy in the evenings. Had quite a few soakers. Usually here we just we get a downpour at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and 15-20 minutes it's done. But we've been getting a lot of rain. We should be heading into the drier season as the wintertime approaches, but still another month or two away from that. Dickie is going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Dickie, that is awesome. Hope you have a good time. From what I have heard, all of the tickets for all of the Halloween parties now sold out. I think I did see that, so interesting. Glad that you got yours. Susan says it looks like we're going to get some rain. It does. I know that the rain chances were kind of going up as the day went on. So as soon as the broadcast is over, I'm probably going to be scooting out so that I do not get rained upon. Petunia says looks like a nice stroll. It is nice to be out here. Lynn got her points in World of Walt Fun. Lynn, thanks for that. Lynn is referring to World of Walt Fun, a game where you can win points for entries into weekly prize drawings. The more points you've got, the better your chance of winning. Every single week, somebody's going to get something. Pins, merchandise, gift cards, tickets. And today you can claim some points just for watching today. All you have to do is text the word morning, 407-606-6780. Again, text the word morning to 407-606-6780 to claim your points. If you haven't yet signed up for World of Walt Fun, this process, it'll get you hooked up. Looks like we got some people lined up here for Finding Nemo, the Big Blue and Beyond, the updated show here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Karen says, thanks for what you do. Karen, my pleasure. Nice of you to say that. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun sharing these live broadcasts with you. The World of Walt Fun game, worldofwalt.com site, Pin of the Month Club, weekly newsletter, all fun stuff that I really enjoy. Thank you for being a part of it. Elmer, sharing the word of today. Morning, thank you for that. So we're going to hang a bit of a left and just take a peek into Dinoland USA. So we'd love to hear your thoughts about the D23 Blue Sky announcements with potential replacements for Dinoland, being Zootopia and Moana. So what did you think? Do you like the idea of either of those intellectual properties, characters coming into this area? Do you think it makes sense to have a second Moana build out in a Disney World theme park so close to the Moana Journey of Water over at Epcot. Do you think that Zootopia fits? I know that some Imagineers have debated the concept that Zootopia is really a story about people, not about animals so much. So what do you think? Does Moana fit here in Disney's Animal Kingdom? How about Zootopia? Would you like to see them? Sheldon, hello to you. Ron's asking about broadcasts from the resort. Always a possibility. Someone there asked earlier today about Disney Springs. As we get closer to the Christmas season, I do like to do a broadcast of the resorts and the great Christmas decorations, especially over in the the Magic Kingdom Resort area. Always enjoy seeing the Christmas decorations at the Grand Floridian, at the Polynesian, at the Contemporary. So probably going to do that. Heather, not so much a Moana fan. So this is the section of the park that used to hold the coaster, which has been demolished. I just have this blue fence up, but all of the rubble has been cleared. It's interesting that there's really not a ton of space between where we are standing and the berm of the park. You can maybe even see beyond the tops of the red umbrellas, kind of a fenced-in area, and right on the opposite side of that is the parking lot. So Disney could bump this section of the park out into the parking lot. The parking lot is certainly big enough. So it doesn't mean they're necessarily constrained by that, but the current outline of the park with this section, while it's a decent sized area, it's not a huge area. Phyllis says she's hoping for Zootopia. Lynn, also Zootopia. Getting some thumbs up there for that. Shina said, oh, I'm sorry, I missed the message. Melissa said she can see Zootopia, but not so fond of the movie. Jane, hello to you. Joel said, don't make Dinoland extinct. I think Dinoland has some extinction in its future. Yeah, I just don't see this area of the park hanging around for forever. Nothing's forever, but while Disney was pretty clear that they're still in an early stage of concepts, it does seem like this land, especially now that the coaster's gone, definitely needs some love. And it's good to know that Disney is thinking about that. So let me share with you one more time the word of today. Word of today is in World of Wild Fun. World of Wild Fun, a game where you can win points for entries into weekly prize drawings. All you have to do is text the word morning to 407-606-6780. Again, text the word morning, 407-606-6780 to claim your points just for watching today. Every single week, somebody's going to win something good. Last week, it was Kelly from New York. This week, it could be you. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your being here as we had a chance to check out the animation experience over at Conservation Station. And take a little stroll through through Asia, and here to Dinoland, USA, where something someday is coming. We just don't know what, and we don't know when, but I'm happy to hear that plans are coming together. Thanks again for joining me. Thank you for the likes, the comments, the shares. It's a great way to get the word out. And it's because you're here and you do that sometimes I get an opportunity to do things with the nice folks at Disney Media Relations, which are a thrill for me to do personally and a ton of fun for me to share with you as well. So, until next time, God bless.